of the TFW podcast. Triple Threat is here. Y'all know what it is. It is Sunday. Let's get this thing going.
Happy 50th.
Of course, joined by Rhodesia. Joined by Eshaun. We done made it, y'all. We talked about it episode, 2025, that we here. We really here now. 50 episodes in. 50, damn near 50 weeks in. And I appreciate everybody that listens, supports the podcast from this journey that we've had so far. We got a long way to go. We are just getting started, of course, on this TFW thing. But one of the biggest and best things about doing this pod, besides talking wrestling with you two knuckleheads every single week, is you guys that listen, that support, being able to talk wrestling to you guys, being able to see your awesome notes and messages and responses to things that we do either here or on Twitter. We appreciate you guys more than you could ever know. But we are here, episode 50.
Let's
what
go.
Y'all got?
Let's
what
go.
Y'all got?
5-0. I'm gonna start flowing like 50. Yo, let's go.
Oh, maybe not.
50 just started his tour too, so I just channeled my inner 50 right there.
He did.
He knew that we were going to approach our 50th episode this week, and that's the reason why 50 went on tour this week. Started his tour.
I like that.
Mm-hmm. Everybody listens to the TFW pod.
They all listen. They all listen. All you gotta do is watch the weekly show. You can tell where they listen. They all listen. E, what's up with you, man?
What's going on, guys? Had a good week of wrestling this week, so let's get on it.
All right. Typically at this point of the show, of course, we go with the hottest topic. We'll go with what everybody will want to talk about.
Go with it.
We go with LA Knight.
There we go. Say it.
I've calmed down a little bit since Friday night. Sitting there Friday, late morning, early afternoon. Get on Beyonce's internet. Look at Twitter.
Hold up, Beyonce's internet. What that mean?
Say something against Beyonce on the internet. See what happens.
Okay, got it.
Get on Beyonce's Twitter, her internet.
Mm-hmm.
Starting to see messages about LA Knight's push is now scheduled to start August 5th. Get off Twitter. Go to my calendar app. I say August 5th is SummerSlam, scheduled to start after August 5th. Nah, no way. Impossible. Right? SmackDown is tonight. There's a fatal four-way match to determine who is going to take on Santos to then take on Austin Theory, presumably at SummerSlam is what we thought. No way. Make a couple jokes about it on Twitter. I go about my day. It's eating at me, though. It's eating at me all day. I'm like, there's no way in hell they're going to do this again. No way in hell. I remember the Bray Wyatt feud where he carried Bray Wyatt on the weekly shows. He was feuding with himself because Bray wasn't there, right? And we were told what? Hey, come after Royal Rumble. They see what they have in LA Knight. It's time. I remember the weekly promos leading up to WrestleMania. You can't have a WrestleMania in LA without LA Knight. I remember that. What happens?
You had a WrestleMania without LA Knight.
You had a WrestleMania without LA Knight. Oh, don't worry. Don't worry. LA Knight's time is Money in the Bank. Okay. LA Knight, hottest fish grease. Loudest reactions on SmackDown every single week. LA Knight cut promos about his destiny is winning that Money in the Bank briefcase. They get to London. You guessed it. Nothing. I remember that. We come out of Money in the Bank. E, what do we say? Man, you got to strike while the iron's hot. Get his boy the belt. the U.S. title. Austin Theory ain't doing nothing with it. What happens? They named 2 Fatal 4-Way matches. He wasn't in the first one to play with our emotions. He's in the second one. Oh, this is his time. 48,000 people in Ford Field screaming, yeah, when he wins the U.S. title against Austin Theory, who is absolutely dormant in this title run. Match starts, comes out, gets the biggest pop on the show. He proceeds to not win that match.
But who won, though?
They did it again. I remember the Royal Rumble where we all wanted Daniel Bryan to be number 30. And Rey Mysterio came in number 30 and got booed.
Yep.
He didn't get booed Friday night. But you might as well set up the GOAT Rey Mysterio again. He now wins. We get to him and Santos next week. I'm ready to blow a gasket. I'm ready to go off because I remember all this. I remember what you told me, Triple H, Paul Levesque, at your press conference. One of those big slogans and mottos. Everything that takes time comes to play in the face of adversity. Whatever you said. I'm ready to give it up. Then something comes out yesterday that states the U.S. title match wasn't going to be on SummerSlam anyway. It is allegedly going to happen on a future episode of SmackDown. Lady and gentlemen, I only got one question for you at this point. Because I believe not giving LA Knight a moment in Ford Field. Now, maybe he comes out and cuts a promo. He comes out and cuts a promo. Cool. All right. If his feud is going to start the next week after SummerSlam, cool. Whatever. My question, though, to you guys is, at this point, and I already know Rhodesia's answer, do you trust WWE to fully take advantage of LA Knight's popularity?
I told you I am not getting my hopes up high for him until they prove it to me. So until they prove it to me, then that's the only time I'm going to buy into it. So to answer your question, hey, yes, no, maybe so. I don't think so at this point. But I'm perfectly fine. When that happened and I saw Ray won, I'm like, holy shit, I bet a whole bunch of people were mad right now. My hopes not in me, my emotions not into it. You know, Drake had that song called What Emotionless? That's how I felt. Emotionless. Could not wait to come on here to address this here. Once again, Triple H, you got us, but not in the right way.
You dirty motherfucker. Dirty. Down, dirty dog. Save us, Eshaun. Tell us that you have all the faith in the world that LA Knight, Eli Drake, will be taken advantage of in the proper way. And we are going to be having a conversation months from now saying, man, you remember when we were tripping? And we was worried about him not being on Mania, him not winning Money in the Bank, him not being on the SummerSlam card, all stadium shows outside of London. And we all just tripped. We all just gonna be good. Tell me, please.
You know, I'm sorry, Matt. I don't know if I can help you with this, man, because I might have to just speak some logic on this, man. I don't know if it's what you want to hear, but I feel like as a fan of LA Knight, maybe we should be elated, right? Because one of the knocks on Cody was that it was too much too soon. He didn't earn it. He didn't struggle enough. He was on the bus, right? Now LA Knight, he's struggling. He's losing. So maybe when he gets to the place, we're all going to be invested and we're going to be like, he's here. He's arrived, right? This is all part of the process to get true 100% investment into the LA Knight character, because when he truly turns babyface, right? He's going through all the struggles, all the losses, right? Because we love to see people lose around here. Our show, we predicate babyfaces losing all the time. We want to see him struggle. So the man's struggling. He's losing left and right. right? So once he gets that win, the crowd's going to cheer. And we're going to be right there for it. This is all part of the plan. It has to be, right? Because at the end of the day, they are giving this man mic time before his matches, right? Who else are they giving mic time before their matches? So they know that, he has something going on the microphone. So I think this is all part of the story, right? I wasn't invested in seeing that type of story with Cody, but you know what? I'm going to digress and say, you know what? Let me enjoy that story and fully understand the Triple H process. I'm going to follow it. I'm good.
Okay, so then as big of an LA Knight fan as you are, when you saw that he didn't win Friday, you were all good with it. You just say, hey, let's let it play out.
Well, I told you, for me, the U.S. title in a match with Theory was like a consolation prize. I wanted him to win the Money in the Bank. I wanted to see him with the top dogs, not in the middle, playing with those guys. I want to see him at the top because I think his microphone skills and his presence and charisma is top of the chain. That's where I want to see. I want to see him mingling with those guys. So this stuff is cool, all right. But I'm down for for ride on the journey to where LA Knight goes.
The interesting thing that also came out, allegedly, they still have him slotted as a heel on SmackDown, not a face.
Of course. He's a heel.
Getting the biggest face.
H's eyes.
Getting the biggest. Right, exactly. Absolutely in Vince's eyes. What the hell? So he's getting the biggest face reactions on SmackDown outside of Jey Uso. You have him slotted still as a heel, and now the word is his push begins after August 5th, which is SummerSlam.
Right. Like I said, he has been a heel. If you follow his promos and what he does in the ring, he's been a heel this entire time. People have just been cheering him. So maybe the next step is for him to acknowledge that, hey, maybe he needs to change, right? There's a lot of things that can happen and play out between now and the next level, right? So I'm ready to get there. But hey, Matt, I got something for you though, man. Because like
yes.
when I was watching this SmackDown, and it immediately came to my mind like, wow, LA Knight lost again, right? And so I remember somebody on this podcast was like, hey, I can't believe in people unless they tell me who I should believe in, right? I can't get like emotionally invested and root behind the character just because I like that person. If unless the company tells me I like them, I don't like them, right? So I'm like, man.
Hold on. Say that one more time.
So unless the company tells me who I should invest in, I don't get invested in that character. That's what we got on this podcast with somebody. So what I saw when I watched this, and I heard like the reaction, and I heard the reaction from this crowd, and then the cheering, and they're reciting the catchphrases, and they was there for what are we calling LA Knight's elbow drop? What are they calling that? Do you got a name for it yet?
I don't know, because every time he sets it up, I just laugh and scream out people's elbow. So I miss the commentary whenever he does it. I'm not sure what it's called. Is it called maybe the drop or something? I don't know.
Maybe we should call it
Rhodesia, get on your Googles.
Yeah.
Maybe we should call it Rhodesia's elbow, right? I think that might work. So
no, hold on. Don't align me with anybody who's a jobber. So bring that back. Bring it all the way back.
He's a jobber now?
Yeah.
Whoa.
What happened? What just happened? What just happened Friday night? What just happened on Friday night? So until he can get some wins, meaningful wins, he's a jobber.
Whoa.
What is a jobber? The person who's going to come in to take the loss, right?
Sheesh.
Yeah.
My man has a top 3 selling t-shirt. You calling my guy LA Knight a jobber.
And I love the energy. So I just want to do a check-in for the friends and family on the Rhodey's poop list, right? I want to know who's on there, who's over, and who's not. Rhodey, who you got for your top 5 for the week? It's off the top of your head. Who's the top 5 list for you this week?
Of I like or I don't like?
Either one. It's your thing.
So I'll go with like because I don't want to promote don't like. So I like Roman Reigns.
Okay.
I like Jey Uso.
Okay.
I like Adam Cole. I like Danny Garcia. And I like Takeshita.
Okay. So we know right now this week they ain't on the poop list. So next week we're going to follow up. We're going to get who's on the poop list. Who's on the naughty list for Rhodesia. So but I just thought about that. I'm like, man, I bet, Rhodesia's over there rolling in her grave right now.
There's only really 2 people on my poop list. There's only really 2 people on my poop list.
Who's that?
And that's Punk and Edge. That's it.
LA Knight. Oh, he's not good enough to be on the poop list yet, right?
Hey, Matt asked her last night, like, why do you hate CM Punk so much? We're sitting there
And he
watching
was
Collision.
disgusted. He was disgusted.
And Rhodesia said something. Matt was like, why do you hate CM Punk so much? What has he
Hey,
ever
but
done to you?
if you listen to some of these reactions, she ain't the only one, right?
Oh, no.
That's what I told Matthew too.
He's a polarizing figure, as they would say.
Yes, he is.
Right? Love him or hate him. He's getting the John Cena reaction. As long as you boo or cheer, that's all that matters.
You're getting a reaction. But
so
real quick,
if this was Rhodesia, if this was not a Triple H led WWE,
okay,
I would have blown a fucking fit.
Yeah, I would too.
I am, of course,
well,
I am
we wouldn't
going
even
to
see LA Knight at this point if this wasn't.
That's true too. 100%. That's absolutely true. But I am, all seriousness, I am going to, of course, I don't have a choice. I am going to sit back and see how this plays out.
Mm-hmm.
You are going to think, though, they have to know what they have. I saw some people, and of course, you know how wrestling fans always got to take it whole way left. Mm-hmm. Some people comparing this to, well, y'all remember what they did to Daniel Bryan? They didn't give him his due. Yes, they did. It was called the Yes Movement. He actually won the title at WrestleMania 30, beat Triple H, and he got his time. So
that was after the fact, though.
True, it was.
It was after the fact. Yeah.
But we finally got there, right? And it was a huge payoff for him. Huge payoff for him. And who knows what would happen if he didn't get injured. So I do believe that they know what they have in them. You can't be that type of merchandise seller. You cannot be that type of viewer driver on TV, on YouTube, on social media, and they not have something in play. So I am going to wait now until fucking August 6th, which is a Sunday, and say, all right, this is the week. Maybe that's what we do. Instead of doing like a SummerSlam post show, either Saturday night after SummerSlam or Sunday, maybe we do the LA Knight Push is Finally Here pod, where all we do is talk LA Knight for that week. And hey, what could possibly happen now that the week is here that they're going to push LA Knight? Because it wasn't after Bray, it wasn't Royal Rumble, wasn't WrestleMania, wasn't Money in the Bank, and evidently now it's not the U.S. title.
Well, I guess you and I can do that podcast because somebody.
I was going to say, well, actually, you're going to probably just have to rename it because that's not going to happen. So,
well, Rhodesia she already hates LA Knight, so she's already kind of put that out there. She knows. Before we switch, Rhodesia, I am going to throw it to you. I know you had something. There was a talk that came out a couple days ago. Spoiler alert, maybe. So fast forward a minute and a half if you don't want to hear a potential spoiler. And I personally don't like spoilers either.
Yeah, should I fast forward?
No, but this is something that we kind of brought up last week. Perfect timing. That's why I said they all listen. We talked about Bray Wyatt last week on the pod. There was word coming out that he is set to return at SummerSlam. Now take this with a grain of salt. We also were told Orton's going to return at WrestleMania. He's set to return at SummerSlam in one of the main events. So far we know
that Cody and Brock.
Jey and Roman.
Mm-hmm.
Brock,
Cody and Brock.
And Cody.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the third main event would be where he would come back. So right now, those are the two. If you had to have him involved, if you had to, can't say nope. You can't say pass. Something else. If you had to have him involved in a Roman program or a Cody program, because we know it's not going to be a Jey program or a Brock program. Which one would it be?
It's simple. You're not going to put anybody. I don't think anybody else is deserving to touch that bloodline story until the bloodline story is over. So it's going to be Cody.
I laid this out to y'all last week.
Mm-hmm. So yes, I knew your answer.
Yeah, I told y'all what was going to happen. See, because I booked these wrestling games, all day long. I got extensive. Me and Tony Khan, we've been doing this for 30 years, man. I ain't new to this, y'all.
So then do you trust the process, you being the Cody guy, do you trust that this will not fall off the rails and Cody will be just as, and that's the reason why I asked, which one? Do you trust that Cody will be at the level that he is now or even higher after a feud when Bray, since Bray's been the Fiend, nobody has gotten over more after they feuded with him. Either they were the same, and the majority of them dropped.
But
LA Knight got over.
But see, this is
LA
what
Knight got over.
This is where I got worked up last week about the Randy Orton thing. Bray coming back, he's coming back also from an injury. So why would you put him against somebody like Cody? The same reason why we said Randy Orton could actually be the heel. We came on here and Eshaun, you said that you couldn't do it. No, that's what I'm saying. You said that.
I still think Orton makes the most sense, but
I think Orton does make the most sense.
That's not the question. It
but,
is the
but
Bray
again,
piece.
Bray. People, half of the people still going to cheer Bray, whichever version of Bray he's going to be. They're still going to cheer him. Why would you put that against Cody?
Hey, I'm a big Bray fan, right? But I remember Draymond Green, my man Draymond Green, fellow Michiganer, right? Talking about Paul Pierce.
Sag nasty.
Was it Saginaw or Flint? I get them mixed up. Was he Saginaw? And Paul Pierce is trying to go on a retirement tour, right? And Draymond was talking to him in the game. He was like, "They don't love you like that. They don't love you like that. They don't love Bray Wyatt like Randy Orton."
I never said they did, but I said that they're gonna he's still gonna get cheers off of Cody, regardless.
Well, so I have to say this: Randy Orton is a beloved figure, right? Now we all love Bray, but we are willing to. Bray Wyatt reminds me of like Freddy Krueger back in the day, or like Chucky back in the day, right? He's like the lovable villain, right? We know he's a villain, like, right? So we know at the end game is you want to overcome the evil. That's what Bray is. Randy Orton, as much as they try to position him as that guy, he's always been somebody he's cheered. So if he comes back, he's getting the hero's welcome. And I think that if you're trying to build Cody as like your next top act after Roman Reigns in the bloodline, you don't want somebody kind of coming in there and kind of like splitting the audience with them. Now, Bray can come in. Yes, people are going to cheer him. They ain't going to give him that Randy Orton pop. He ain't getting that one now. And also, fans know that he's a bad guy. They know that he's a villain, and they're willing to sacrifice. Now, to answer your question, you know what? I think Cody might surprise me, man. I don't, as a fan of his, like, I'm really surprised that this character, this version of Cody is so over. So who knows? And I think if they're going to do it, it's going to be with him, not Roman.
But I don't think it's up to Cody. I think it's the booking. That's why I say, do you trust it? Cody's going to be fine. He's going to do his thing. We've seen every single week he gets more popular and more popular with the fan base. He's doing an incredible job. My worry, though, is, all right, you put him with Bray. What does that look like after he's done with Bray? Because this whole thing for Cody, this is his story.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to presume the story is him, Roman, WrestleMania 40, he gets the belt. Maybe he loses again. Who knows? I don't know. But we know this story, and so far it's working. There is nobody, if they're being real with themselves, would say that Cody is not in a better position right now than he was heading into WrestleMania. He's absolutely in a better position with the fan base, on TV, et cetera, et cetera. My worry is just with Bray, because if it's a Fiend character or whoever, you go in there against Bray and it just doesn't click a lot of times. Are we willing to put that up against our top babyface in the company outside of Seth Rollins and say, all right, let's run this program until Survivor Series? I don't know.
So I don't know. I think it's a collaborative effort because, you absolutely know that Cody has a lot of input on what's going on with him, right? As does Bray, right? Of course, Triple H is going to be there. So it's going to be a very collaborative effort in a future program with all of them. And I trust that the people involved will come up with something that's going to be pretty good. As far as like Bray, I think that Fiend character got over differently they thought it would. Like, right? And because of the character, he's like this invincible monster character, right? He's almost like Jason Voorhees, right? In a lot of ways, right? So how do you really overcome him unless you kill him? Was kind of what they need to go to.
Hell, didn't Orton kill him? You set him on fire. I remember that match.
He came back, yeah. But he came back just like Jason, right? Came back. But if I don't think we're gonna get that type of character from Bray, and I'm not sure what Bray Wyatt was doing with this character in Uncle Howdy. I think it might have been more of a vulnerable character, much like the original Bray Wyatt character was. And like I said, LA Knight came out okay. I think they will be fine, right? I don't know it's going to be the thing that's going to set the wrestling world on fire. I'm not going to say that, but I think at the end of the program, I think it will be fine, and I'll by golly say I might be entertained by it.
I think we'll all be entertained by it. What I would love, and hopefully he continues to do like wrestling interviews and stuff after he's done. Bray Wyatt, I would love a sit down when he's retired or he's done. to find out about how his mind worked with, some of these characters. I would love to know, when you came back at Extreme Rules, what was the end game for that character? Because the word was Eric Young, who we talked about last week, said, hey, it's either me or Vince. I can't work with this man. They let him go. He's back in Impact. He was supposed to play one of the puppet characters.
Oh, wow.
For Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, that was the thing, right? We thought it was going to be like a 7 something.
Okay.
Right?
But to your point, if the story was him and Uncle Howdy, this is supposed to be Bray Wyatt, the human guy, and then you have Uncle Howdy.
And we didn't quite know what that was.
The Firefly Funhouse was over, but then we saw him standing in the crowd. At one point, the puppets, and then it comes out to hear that, hey, they were supposed to be actual characters with these puppets. I would just love to hear, all right, take us through what was supposed to happen. Okay, once the Uncle Howdy thing was done, how do we get to the puppets? And then now you got the puppets. What does that look like? I would just love, I would pay pretty good money to hear what that was supposed to sound like. We know Bray is a special talent. Love for him to come back. It's just going to be interesting to see what him and Cody does. If that's the game.
I kind of like where we're at right now, talking about like the Roman, because you brought up a quick question about, or a comment about Cody taking the title at Mania. Again, just presuming that. But before we get to that, tell me your thoughts on why Mysterio and Santos is going against each other. That I'm not quite understanding on the LWO side.
Let me tell you, I got it already, man.
Come on, tell me, because I'm like, what the fuck was that about?
I've been booking these things too long. You know what? Hey, look, Tony, I might be actually good at this. Holla at your boy. We can get together, man. I'm telling you, we'll be best friends. I know I talk some noise, but it's always from a place of positivity, man. Call me. Let's get together. So
if there's any of the three of us that will be working with Tony, I can promise you it won't be you. the way you spewed absolute venom on that man and that show every single week, it won't be you, man.
No, because like I know that he will know the love of my heart. He sees the good in people. So this ain't going to end right. This AOWO stuff. It ain't going to end right for Ray. This ain't going to end with a happy ending. Like, it's something going to happen, right? Santos is shady. He been kissing too many babies. He been what I said.
Shaking too many babies.
Shaking babies' hands.
Yeah, but this ain't gonna end well, right? Something's gonna happen. So this is setting up some friction for later on, right? Like, I'm guessing, and like I could be wrong here in the storyline, but I'm guessing that Ray wins, and Santos ain't gonna like that, and it's gonna start the friction between the people and the people who have to point and choose. They rolling with Santos or they rolling with Ray, and we gonna see LWO split and divide. And there's rumor that Carlito's coming back, right? So where is he side on all of this? So I think we're leading towards eventual split, and this is part of it, much like what they're doing with Finn Balor and Senor Money in the Bank.
Man, they got a lot of good things going, don't they? Like, in regards to, I forgot about Carlito. Word is Carlito was supposed to debut at the Madison Square Garden Smackdown, but the Bloodline segment went too long, and they were like, if we debut him tonight, it's going to get lost. Let's hold it off.
Well, that's
But think about it. They got Carlito in the tuck. I don't think Carlito is not a needle mover for me. I will enjoy watching him and seeing him, but he's not somebody that I'm like, oh man, I got to tune in. Carlito's working tonight. But to that point, I was telling Rhodesia Friday night, when she brought that up, I don't care about Ray and Santos at all.
I don't either.
Like, I don't care about it.
Not the match. Not that match particularly.
Yeah, I don't care about it. I don't care about the match. Of course, I like them individually. Like, I don't care about the match. The only way that story works, and that could be where the story goes, and I think that's a really good story. The only way that story works, though, is if you got to get Santos hotter as a face
to win it from Austin. Yep.
Because it doesn't matter if there's friction if I don't care about you right now. Right? We've seen turns.
They've been trying though, man. They've been trying.
I know they have. We go to Big Show a lot because Big Show's gone down and probably in history as the most heel face turns that nobody cared about. The reason why people didn't care about him was because you lost the emotional investment. I don't care that you're a face right now. So when you turn back heel, I don't care. I don't care you're a heel. So when you go face, I don't care. And that's kind of how I feel right now with Santos. He is not a strong enough face yet to where if he turns on Rey, you care to the level that's going to propel him to being a big heel. Yes, if he was to turn on Rey, the crowd is going to boo him. All he's got to do is cut one cocky promo like we've seen from him in NXT, and we're off to the races. Yep. But if you're talking about maximizing it, I like your idea of, okay, that happens, but don't let that happen for a couple more months in terms of the turn. Maybe this could be chapter 1 out of 6 chapters. And in a couple months, he turns. But if he was to turn next Friday or at SummerSlam or whenever the match is, and say he costs Rey the match and Austin Theory wins, now it's like, but I don't care enough yet. Make me care.
Oh yeah, I think they're going to take their time with this. And like I said, they've really been trying with Santos, man. He's been like, he when he's wrestling, he's doing that whistling thing, in front of his spots to try to get people to wake up and react to what he's doing in the ring. He's really, really trying. But this might be the him, kind of going down the devious route might kind of be the thing to kind of add some season to his character. I mean, people kind of get on, get with him and get with that feud. Because I kind of think about like the Rockers back in the day. Like for me personally, I wasn't a big fan of the Rockers. Were you?
I was a big fan of them because, like, for me, they were like the real first
high-flying tag team?
Higher in the card act that did those high-flying moves.
Yeah, they kind of were.
Like Heart Foundation was just perfect across the board. Yeah, but yeah, they were grounded, but they were perfect across the board. Demolition, we know what that was. Grounded. Like they were grounded. So like the Rockers was that team. We talk a lot about the opening match and how important the opening match was on the card. It sets the tone. You want to have that show start off strong, you put the Rockers in a tag match.
Yeah.
What
did Gorilla call them back in the day? What did he call their tag team? Because they did the double team moves. What did he call it back in the day? I can't think what he had a special thing. Tag team continuity or something.
Yeah.
Something like that he called them. But,
hanging from the rafters.
But, I just wasn't really, I wouldn't say I wasn't into them that much. Like, I get what you're saying, and I felt that too. But it wasn't until Shawn Michaels started acting like a jerk, before they broke up. Not after he broke, but when he broke up, we started doing, leaving the match and, talk to the girls in the crowd and, just some of his mannerisms and antics outside that kind of led to the breakup. That's what made me start taking notice of Shawn Michaels, right? So we can get something similar with Santos, right?
Yeah.
Him acting a little bit shady or, showing his heel side and things of that nature. And the subtleties of that might make it kind of interesting. So when he eventually does turn on Rey, if that's where they're going, it might be a better story. Yeah.
It matters. Yeah. I like that. Let's talk about the tribal court or combat, excuse me, tribal combat. So now we know that in essence, it's a no DQ match, no count out between Roman and Jey. Yep. At SummerSlam. Thought the segment was great. I thought they really nailed the part of tribal combat being about respect.
Yeah.
I thought they did a perfect job of nailing that because I think that's going to play into the match. Roman stopping Solo from spiking Jey, then Jey super kicking him, and then there's a stare off. So they didn't fight against each other. They didn't throw punches after that. They did their thing. Now they separate. For you two, does that stipulation make you more excited to see the match, less excited, or you have the same excitement level?
I'm probably going to say more just because clearly Solo doesn't understand what a tribal combat is. Maybe that's just, seriously, maybe that's just held to the higher rankings of the bloodline. But you even saw how even Roman said, hold on. Does the elders know about this? And then how it was their idea. So, and you saw this light bulb in Roman's eyes, like, okay, well, I guess it's almost like I challenge you to a duel. Okay, got it. At that point, I want you at your 100% best. So whenever this thing is on and popping, I want you at your best because whoever wins is the true tribal chief. So got me more excited because now I know at least the plan is for Jey not to be touched before the actual combat.
Okay.
I stayed the same with me. I'm already there. I'm there for it all.
Okay.
Right. Like I don't know how much higher I can get, but also I'm watching these shows at 5:00 in the morning, so I don't, I don't know if I got that much more excited, but I'm there for it, man. It was a really good segment. That's one thing I like about SmackDown and this whole Bloodline storyline. We talk about it all the time, man. It's just a story, right? And it's like, it's not just about what they're saying. It's like, you gotta look at their faces. Like, especially when like some of the sit down interviews that they have, or segments when, Roman Reigns is thinking and Solo's just looking, I don't know, he's looking worried or whatever he's looking like, but
he had another look. He had another look on Friday.
Yep.
Of like, come on, dog.
But again,
that same look he gave Roman when Roman showed that he was, remember when it was the
was getting
false
irritated
finish,
by not
it was the
winning.
false finish in the tag match, and they hit the move. I think it was a spear, and then they kicked, and then Roman almost started crying, and Solo looked at him like, "Dog, get up!" Like he gave him that same look Friday. Yeah. So I don't know. So to your point, is that a look of, man, this motherfucker soft?
Yeah.
Is that a look of, I'm disgusted? Is that a look of, I can't wait to take my rightful place?
Ooh.
You could take it as a lot of different things.
Hey, and the thing is, though, like, Roman knows something up, too, because he'll look over at him like...
He sure will.
Yeah, right? He'll look over at him like, all right, something... I need to watch this dude. And then also, you got those two, right? Then you got Heyman in the back. And it's like Heyman, almost like he has, he's like a fortune teller, right? Because he's watching the playoff, like, he kind of knows where things are going, right? He'll look at Roman... And then he'll look at, then he'll just give the same look to Solo, right? Like he's watching this unfold. He can kind of see where this thing is going. It's just really exciting to see. I'm just here for the whole thing, man. I love it. It's a great story.
And the thing about Heyman too, which is so fantastic, and it's not baby feeding the audience. At any time during a promo, a sit down segment, a match, you can look at Heyman. And Heyman is showing you via his facial expressions how you should feel in that moment. That's an art to that. Because to your point, there's times where he's jovial. Right? Hey, I ain't got no worry in the world. Tribal Chief got this. Island of Relevancy, we got this. And something happened and he'll switch. And he'll switch to worry. So now as a viewer, I know what they feel like. I know exactly what I should be thinking in that moment. If I'm for the bloodline, I'm worried. If I'm against the bloodline, I'm ecstatic. Because Heyman's is upset, and he did a masterful job of showing those facials Friday during that entire segment. He had the worry look on his face the entire time, and it's so now I get it. So now Roman really is worried about this challenge from Jey. This is nothing to play with. This is not, we're just gonna rack them, stack them, smash them, and get out of here. Got it.
I will say though, I love Jey too, but I wish Jey would. So he does this thing where he's kind of hunched over a little bit, like his head, like he's like, and he puts his head down. And he looks up with his head down. You know what I'm saying? I need him to rise all the way the hell up,
but not yet.
No,
right? I know what you're saying, but not yet. Because the story you're still telling though is that Roman is still the head of the table. If he was to act like that, that means that now I'm the head of the table. No, there still has to be a little bit of that hierarchy of I'm still talking to the head man, the main man. There's still got to be a little bit of that. Because I think when we get there,
I don't get that from him. I don't get that from him.
I do.
I get that, like, this is like my, like, and this is what I get. Because, like, for me, I think it's more personal than business. I think it's like, this is my cousin who's like my brother. And I got to go to war with this man. And I got to take him out. And I don't want to do it. That's what I see.
Yeah.
With him more so than the head of the table. I'm like, yo, this is my brother, and I don't want to have to do this. But I'm like, man, bro, he done took your twin. He said it, like, man, look, you called the shot. You took my brother out. Now I gotta get you, like, right? But I need him to say, no, I'm gonna get you. I need to put some bass in his voice. I can't do it right now, but I need to put some bass in his voice.
Maybe we get that next Friday, the go home show before SmackDown. I do have something I wanted to bring up. So you guys know that Survivor Series is coming to Chicago, and they sent like a email. Right, 2-day combo pre-sale package. Get your tickets. Listen to this, and yes, things can change. This could be nothing, or it could be a big deal. See your favorite WWE superstars live, including American Nightmare Cody Rhodes, WWE World Heavyweight Champion Seth Freakin Rollins, the EST of WWE Bianca Belair, undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens. And the last name that's on here, main event Jey Uso. Could be nothing, could be something, could be a lot. But that tells me when I see that this main event Jey run is not ending at SummerSlam. Roman's not evidently going to be at SummerSlam because they would, of course, put his name on there. But this means this main event Jey thing is going to have some legs. Which we've talked about it. Good for him. Really, really good for him. Last thing I have on SmackDown or WWE, unless you guys have something else, Bobby Lashley. Did it again. Bobby shows up. What Bobby did? Yeah, Bobby go find some more black folks.
Yep.
Bobby go find some more black folks. He said, a trick? Mello, come here, man. Let me talk to you. They look all happy-go-lucky. Don't get me excited, WWE, on what this could be. I'm not for the, hey, put all the black folks together, put them in the stable. But if you can tell me we can get Trick, Mello, Bobby, and the Profits, sign me up. I do have a question for you guys. Say this goes on for another 5 months. Bobby just shows up on Raw because who gives a damn about the draft? WWE doesn't. So why would I? Picnic? Bobby shows up on SmackDown. Bobby going to talk to all the black folks. Okay. Who is the one black wrestler, if you guys was booking the real Black Combat Club, that should not be in it? Who is the one wrestler? You don't have to give your reason why, but you got to pick one. You got to pick one black wrestler that is under WWE contract right now that you would say, nah, let's leave them out.
I got one. It got to be Gable Stevenson, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because just like any old black person trying to take vacation and PTO before they've earned it,
that's a shoot. That's a shoot.
You gonna give us our vacation time?
My man showed up to one NXT and was like, "Hey y'all, that's enough for me right now. I got to go take some PTO. I'll see y'all in a few months." That's a shoot.
I hope he's okay though. On all fairness and all joking aside, I hope he is okay. But yeah, give me Gable Stevenson not to go to the real Black Combat Club.
I think it's like training. Yeah, I think it's like he's doing some training or something for college. But still, you could have give us another. At least give us one more week. Get laid out or something.
Nah, fam. I'm here for the entire picnic cookout. I'm here for it all. Let it play out on TV. Let me get a slice of home on WWE TV every week. I'm good for that. I just want to see them chopping up, playing cards with them, some dominoes, and you know what I'm saying? Like, give me all that. Every single
thing. Follow directions again. Matt, what you got?
Oh, Lord, give it to me.
You know what I would do? This is what I would do. I would skip out on Byron Saxton. And then Byron goes apeshit nuts.
Okay.
And just lays everybody out. If you guys don't know, Byron is a big dude.
He's huge.
That boy is massive. And of course that goes against his, persona on TV. Just the happy-go-lucky, everything is a joke and funny. But how great would that be? It's like they shun him like, nah, man, you're not down. And then we see a heel Byron Saxton. He just destroys everybody. Give me that. Give Byron some rub. Byron deserves it. I like it. Y'all got anything else around WWE before we go to AEW?
They just call so far LA Knight's move the leaping elbow drop. There's no fancy name to it.
Okay.
That's it.
I like Rhodey's elbow better.
AEW Collision was last night. We don't have to talk much about Collision. We can save some of that for Tuesday's show if you guys want. I do want to, because the big thing I want to talk about around AEW is Adam Cole and MJF. Mm-hmm. We got to talk this through. We got to talk this out.
Blood and guts.
Yes, because I got some thoughts. You and I haven't really talked about it. I do have some thoughts on Blood and Guts. Collision is just such a complete show. Last night, from a television show, in-ring work was probably the worst. And that's not saying the show was bad, because it wasn't. But it wasn't like they didn't have like that match of the year candidate, or they didn't have that, you got to go out of your way to see this match because they did this for 20 minutes, et cetera, et cetera. But it's such a complete show. And what they did on Collision this week that I loved so much was 3 different things that they did that I enjoyed. Number 1, they set up the main event during the opening segment. Now, AEW likes to promote everything beforehand. Typically, with a Dynamite or a Collision show, you know everything that you're going to see outside of a storyline. But matches, promos, they announce all of it. And what I really enjoyed about last night during that opening segment was it made sense in regards to the tag match that we got. And it made sense of how they got there during the promo. So I love that. That's something they typically don't do on AEW TV. Also love that they didn't announce Miro's opponent. They just said Miro's in action. So when he was jumped from behind, oh, it's him. Right? Opposed to they announcing that he's wrestling my man, and then we know it's going to be a quick match because they're now on the same level, and then he jumps him. Thought that was fantastic. Third thing was Acclaim basically got squashed.
They did.
In that match against House of Black. And they didn't tip their hands at all that it was going to be a squash match. And for that to be almost a squash match, and then Billy presumes that he's retiring. We'll see where that goes, if he truly does or not. But for that match to be a squash match with the Acclaim and Billy Gunn. So this isn't a squash match with 3 local talent, 3 extras. No, these are bona fide stars in AEW. And for them not to tip their hat that was happening, I thought that was really strong too. Buddy said, Max, keep my wife's name out of your mouth, and blew his ass up with that knee. Yeah. I loved everything about that. But those were the 3 things that I really enjoyed about Collision last night. I also loved how much of a star Darby came across after him falling flat a few times on the mic in the 4 Pillars storyline. He came across looking like a really big deal on Collision. And it goes back to presentation. Same guy. It's who he's in the ring with, who he's not in the ring with. Thought that was fantastic. E, did you watch Collision yet?
Yeah.
What did you think about that opening segment?
I enjoyed it, actually. I enjoyed it a lot. Like, funny thing, I noticed that Darby keeps wearing those boots, those 10-inch high boots. Hey, Darby, I don't blame you too, man. If Jordan 1s can give me like another 2 inches, I'll be great. But
he learned that from Jericho. Jericho was like 5'6". That took him all the way to 5'9".
Hey, but you know what though? Like, I always heard about Jericho and like his lifts, but he seemed like a bigger dude in today's wrestling world, right?
Because he is, man. That just shows now the average size of a wrestler compared to what it used to be.
Yeah, because he's thicker,
mm-hmm.
and he seems taller than a lot of guys, which is saying something.
Yep.
But I enjoyed it, man. I like the back and forth with Ricky. I love Hill Ricky. I think that's what we're getting. I like him.
That's the sweet spot, right?
I like his story that he kind of told. I had a note that man, at the crowd, they didn't like Punk at first, right? But he's really split that audience. But I think it kind of works for him. He's polarizing, right? And it
sure does.
And that really works really well too. I like this version of Darby. At first, I didn't think I would like Darby talking so much. I thought it kind of took some of his mystique. But I think he's doing a pretty good job. Minus that Pillars stuff, right? I think that just was a bump in the road. But I think he's actually overall doing well. But I gotta give it to my man Christian. Christian is such a great heel.
Mm-hmm.
He's such a great heel. He ain't trying to get no fans. He's trying to get Cuba in a way to make people boo him.
No fans.
Correct. I mean,
right?
even his line about like who walks around with a title they didn't even win.
Oh, man,
while he
right?
has the title on his arm.
Right?
Yes.
Right? Just the whole thing. He has the title, and I thought like just the back and forth with those guys in the opening was really, really good.
Y'all hit all of my notes that I had on it. I like that Ricky addressed really quickly that he wasn't a pillar. I thought that was cool. And then I did mention something about the women's match, and Matt brought to my attention that it's probably just because I like her a lot, but I really like Taya Valkyrie. I think she's really good, and being able to cut a promo after wrestling, what was it, probably a 12-minute match. I thought that was pretty good, but Matt made it sound like maybe I'm a little high on her because I like her. So that could be fair.
It's same. I'm a huge Taya fan. The promo wasn't the best. But that's fine.
And I thought it was.
You have nights off when you got a live mic. Ask FTR. That proto was brutal.
Bing, boom.
But we know they can talk. But last night, for whatever reason, it just didn't connect. Last night just wasn't a good night for anybody on the mic outside of that opening promo.
Segment, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Other than that, it was kind of just clunky. But whatever. Once again, I'll rather take that than completely scripted promos. So whatever.
For sure.
But yeah, I didn't think that was great. I also didn't think. I think the reason why maybe the FTR promo didn't work was because nobody cares right now. We all love MJF Adam Cole. So we don't really care what you got to say. Like, they're not doing anything wrong. Right? We enjoy it. Maybe you don't like the dancing. We like the dancing.
Right.
Maybe
that's where I was about to boot him.
Maybe you don't trust MJF, but we're trying to trust MJF. So, like, that probably could have been a really good, nice backstage promo. You know, make it one of those 60-second, 90-second joints and kind of move on. But yeah, in front of the live crowd, Jersey was like, nah, we're good. But that Jersey crowd, too, was a little off. From the word, people there, sections were chanting their own section, trying to get themselves over. There was a ton of yeah chants.
Okay.
So it was kind of like one of those crowds from people in attendance.
You know, I gotta be honest about FTR. Like, I was never really enamored in their face personas. I think that style promo that Dax does, I don't think it's very engaging. You know, he tells those stories, and they're very similar stories, and they're stories that are true to him, and they're, you know, real stories. But I just don't find them to be greatly entertaining. I liked them better when they were heels. Maybe this is where they're going. I just felt like up until that match we saw last week with the Bang Bang Gang, I felt like they were just getting a little flat. Like, I think that there was a big disservice done by taking the titles off the Acclaim, slowing them all the way to hell down, put it on to the FTR, and I don't think FTR has really been hot as champions. But maybe if we get a switch back to the heel team, and they go against all those teams that are ready for them, it might be a good time for the tag team division.
For FTR, I mentioned last week about how versatile they are in the ring, and they can wrestle with anybody, and that stands true to me. I think when it comes to them speaking on the mic, they're pretty like unilateral. They have just that one style of talking on the mic. So at times, if you don't care or give two craps about it, then you're like, well, I don't really want to hear from you right now. So I can see where some people would say, hey, FTR, just be quiet. You don't have to come out every week and talk. I know you champions. So that is kind of like a slippery slope when your champions should talk and when they shouldn't talk. But I can agree with that sometimes it could fall flat for me because I feel like each promo is the same with them. The cadence and the sound of their promos are the same to me. But it doesn't take away for FTR being top 3 tag teams.
Well, you know, and it works when you don't like who they're going against. It does work. And when you want to tell us that the Ass Boys are Daddy's boys and they just need to get whipped around, cool, works. We get it. Yep, I agree. When you talk to us about Bullet Club Gold and all you guys do is cheat to win and we're better than you, okay, cool, got it. Works. When you talk about the Briscoes and this is a dream match, we just want to see who's the better man, cool, got it. But as hot as Cole and MJF is right now, whatever you're going to tell me, I don't want to hear because I don't care.
Yeah.
Right,
I ain't gonna lie to you. I kind of agree with him, to be honest with you. I thought it was just a bad promo.
Oh, it's all right. So let's talk about it then. Perfect segue to MJF and Adam Cole. And then Rhodesia, we'll get to blood and guts too. What's the end game? So we know they are now wrestling for the titles this week on Collision. So we'll probably deep dive this a little bit more on. No, we can do it now because Dynamite won't happen yet when we record Wednesday's pod. You got a couple different options here. I've said from jump, the way I wanted this to end was Adam Cole to turn on MJF. You do a flip-flop. Cole goes heel, MJF goes face. Do you see how much this is working? The I'm Better Than You Baby shirt is the #1 seller in AEW. Top shirt seller of the year, I believe.
Oh, wow.
We know the type of engagement this is done for the fan base. Majority are over the moon, love it. Do you scrap the plan of having MJF Adam Cole at either All In or All Out? Because at this point, we have to assume that was the original plan. Right? MJF does not have another feud anywhere in sight, and that pay-per-view is next month. So that had to have been the end game. So do you say, all right, let's pump the brakes on this a little bit. Maybe we give them the tag titles. Maybe there is no AEW championship match at All In, your biggest show in history. And if you have Will Ospreay available, if you have all your other titles available, if you can somehow get some major outside star to come into the show, we have enough to sell it. We have enough to make money on it, et cetera, et cetera. Do you scrap how hot this is and say, this is our plan? Next Saturday, they break up. We go MJF, Adam Cole, as is, meaning Adam Cole's the face, MJF's the heel. Or do you go, third option, they break up next Saturday, or this Saturday, and you do the flip-flop. Cole turns on MJF. So now Cole is the heel, MJF's the face, and you go MJF, Adam Cole at either All In or All Out next month.
I think we're in a predicament here. Okay, so I am from the school of, if I'm coming to your biggest show in history, your heavyweight champion needs to be wrestling and defending that title. 100%. I do agree with that. And that's how I would feel. I would feel a way if it wasn't. We've seen kind of tag teams hold the main event spot kind of in WWE just in this last year, but that's something completely different. So I would feel a way if your AEW heavyweight championship is not being defended. I think there is something that is beautiful between MJF and Adam Cole. I also feel in a way, and these are all these thoughts running through my head right now, I can't see MJF actually holding two titles because then one of them are going to kind of fall by the wayside. I think it will blow up before they win the titles. So maybe it's a possibility they're about to win, but I can't even see a world when it's MJF and Adam Cole going against FTR. The way it's constructed right now, I just can't see that. And that's
happening Saturday.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So then I think that maybe, what I'm saying is I think maybe in the match, it would look like MJF and Adam Cole could win, but I don't think they're going to win because I can't see a world where those two go against each other. And that AEW heavyweight championship have to be defended at your biggest show of history. It has to. All
right. So real quick, you said that you can't see them going against each other. The match is happening Saturday.
Okay,
so they are going against each other.
I'm so sorry. I mean, after, like going back and forth in a program together campaign. That's what I'm saying. Of course, the match is already settled. They're going to fight on Collision. What I'm saying is that I can't see a program between those two tag teams. I can't.
Got it. So then if you are saying what you're saying, who turns on who? Does Cole turn on MJF or does MJF turn on Cole?
Initially, I thought, listening to you, that it would be Adam Cole turning. But again, why would FTR drop that little nugget again to remind me, about the devil line? How they want to make it act like they're not really there, but they're still really there. Mm-hmm. Why say that if that doesn't come to fruition this Saturday or whenever? So I'm very torn. I don't know what's going to happen.
So you got to pick before we go to E. You got to pick. And maybe the reason why they said that line is to put
a plan of C possibly too. So
for Adam Cole, not for MJF, for Adam Cole. Hey, man, you really don't trust him. I know y'all been getting along for a month. Y'all have gone out to eat together. Y'all went bowling together. Whatever y'all have done, worked out together.
So then if I have to pick between who's going to turn on who, then I would have to say who then that storyline at All In would have to be. I feel then MJF and Adam Cole going against each other, and who, and like I would have to work backwards. If I had to pick then who's going to turn on who, let's roll with Adam Cole turning bad guy. And MJF showing that he's turned good guy. And later in life, who knows? That might be a fake still. But let's say Adam is going to do the turn. And causes the match.
So you think about it like, so I always assumed the end game was for one of them to turn, probably MJF. I would have assumed. Because I think at some point in the near future, we're going to get Punk and MJF. But if they don't do that, and they want to keep this train going with Cole and MJF because it's so hot right now, like, what are the pros and cons? Like, right? Because like, what are the stories that are booked after this feud? Right? Does it make sense to stop that or halt those things to keep this going? Right? And then what's next for it? What's next for all the different programs that you had going into the future? If MJF turns, or I don't know, he's turned, right? Because right now he's turned babyface, right?
Okay.
But if he goes back as a heel, who's his next challengers? Like, right? If Adam Cole turns on MJF and they switch swap, like, what's next for MJF? Who's his next challenger after the feud? Who's Adam Cole's next challenger after the feud? Right?
Okay.
If Cole loses, and if he turns heel and he loses, what's next for him? Like, right? Because for me, Adam Cole has always been kind of like the leader of a group type of character. He's never kind of been a guy that can stand by himself. He's always seemed like the loudmouth in a pack. Like, so does he go to the Bang Bang gang? But you got Switchblade. King Switch is the loudmouth of that group. Like, what's next for these guys if something changes? It's my thing. So in a perfect world, I don't know if I'm gonna say a perfect world. Like, I would just kind of assume what the national course was, that, MJF is just being a jerk. He turns on Adam as expected. He goes on the feud with Punk at the next thing, and they find something else for Adam Cole to do, because if they switch that around, I don't know who's next for Cole, or who's next for MJF. What are they doing?
See, that's why I think Adam would have to betray MJF this weekend or Saturday. So then now we can have a storyline if we're going after them. Since we lost the opportunity of the tag team championship, let me go after the belt. I mean, because right now at All In, I'm from the school that that title needs to be defended. There's nobody else. And what is All In? Like 5 weeks from now, 6 weeks from now? Something like that?
The last week of
August.
Hey, I will say that Roman Reigns has to defend his belt in damn near 10 months. So we're okay with champions not defending belts.
But Bloodline is completely different. You got to again, you had the tags main eventing.
Well,
pay-per-views.
But Roman defended the belt at WrestleMania. This All In is like their WrestleMania. This is their biggest show in history. So if you guys are saying, no, it is. If you've already sold 70,000 tickets, it's your biggest show in history. If you're saying that it's your biggest show in history, you have to have a title match, world title match. I get that. I get that.
They already sold the tickets.
I get that.
Have to.
That would be my argument.
They didn't sell the tickets for that match.
Tickets are already sold. You got a pay-per-view the next week.
Your main champion.
You ain't got
but the pay-per-view the next week doesn't matter, because if whatever the feud is, unless the feud starts at All In, it doesn't matter that, okay, the pay-per-view is that next week. You got two pay-per-views in a week. For me, something that you said, E, who's the next feuds? You got to answer that anyway. Right? Like, we still don't know what the next feuds would be. I think you could easily have, for me, my thing out of this entire program would be to have MJF face. You guys that have not been listeners of the TFW pod, you can go back probably 30 episodes where I banged the drum every single week after All Out last year, turned MJF face. I was in the crowd in Chicago when CM Punk just won that title, and the pop MJF got was the loudest pop I've ever heard at a AEW show. Now, granted, I was not at the first dance show in United Center when Punk first came back. I think that was actually our only AEW show we missed in Chicago here.
Because we were at SummerSlam.
At SummerSlam in Vegas, yep. But that's the loudest pop I've ever heard at an AEW show. You had your opportunity. You didn't take it then. Okay. I've always said I think MJF is somebody who you can put the entire promotion on their back. They take you to that next level. I think he's kind of shown that in the last 3 or 4 weeks. No, he's not doing all this on his own. But if you look at on Dynamite, that tag match, they start the tag match off with a dance-off. Right? Which I loved it. I thought all 4 played their parts perfectly.
All for me. Gyrations and all.
We always talked about we didn't want the sports entertainment from WWE. No, it's not that we don't want sports entertainment. We don't want sports entertainment that we don't like. That was sports entertainment that MJF has done. The scene with him and Cole lifting weights, that's sports entertainment. The scene with them at the restaurant, that's sports entertainment. He's doing sports entertainment right to what we like as wrestling fans. And so is WWE now. Right? They, since Triple H is kind of taken over, we have not rolled our eyes at anything that's been sports entertainment related, maybe outside of the end of the Rumble match with Bray and LA Knight. But other than that, it may not be our cup of tea, but you don't roll your eyes. You don't say that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. We said that a lot over the last few years when it comes to quote unquote sports entertainment. But my thing is, all right, we need to turn MJF face, because what I worry about is MJF has shown numerous times that he's done this before. You can't keep going back to the well of I'm your friend, I'm a good guy, and then he turns. I understand that's what the devil does. But it's going to get to a point where you are going to need to turn MJF face. And if you do this too many times, nobody's going to care. Nobody's going to believe it anymore. And I think the majority of people believe MJF is showing his true self. Hell, he sat there when they were playing video games and he told Adam Cole, I've never had friends. Right? He gave Adam Cole a birthday party. I'm sure that's the first time he's done that. He's doing things where it's like, oh, there's somebody I actually believe in. Now, if Adam Cole turns on him, now MJF is a sympathetic figure. He doesn't have to change anything that he does except for rag on the crowd. Just pull that off of who you are. And man, we are off to the races. CM Punk said last night on Collision, I am the real world's champion. What face says that?
No, none.
Now, maybe he may be right because he didn't lose the belt. But he's not right because you can't hold on to a belt for 8 months if you've been out injured. But those were his words. Yeah. So I've never seen a face that has said, I am the real champion. No, that's a hillish thing to say. Mm-hmm. I think there is so much money.
I'll do it.
You're a hill. I think there is so much money in Punk, MJF, in Chicago, at All Out for the championship. I think there's so much money.
But you think we can get there in 6 weeks?
Well, yes, we can get there.
And end the story now with Adam Cole and introduce the Punk story within 6 weeks.
Well, there you go. That's the part. That's the part where you got to kind of say, okay, well, how do we get there? I think with Cole, which you can do, to your point of what's next for Cole, you have Roddy there. We know Roddy's going to play a part in this. What's name should be back pretty soon here. Kyle. You bring back the Undisputed Era. Those three. Have them go after the trios titles.
I can see that.
Now you have everything you just said, E. He's back at being a heel. He's got a group around him. Imagine those three not wrapped up in a elite feud, Young Bucks feud that they did last year. I think there's money in that. Just do not revert back to, we fast forward a month from now, MJF is back to being the normal heel that he was. I think that would be a colossal mistake. I would love for this to continue much longer than what it is. We've seen Tony Khan has pivoted before. Some good, some bad. He's done a lot of good pivots, though. Things that happen, he's made some changes. I think you really need to look at it and say, okay, well, if we pull it back and we say, let's keep them together until Revolution in November, what does that look like? Can we still get main event caliber matches for 2 huge shows at the end of October and end of September? If you look and say, there's just no way for us to get there. Okay, cool. Do the turn or do the match, have them turn on each other, but have Cole turn on MJF. The way MJF looked at Adam Cole when Adam Cole was looking at the belt. You could take that look of, I hate you, look at you, I can't wait to turn on you. Or you could take that look of, dude, I thought I actually had a real friend for once, and you about to backstab me. There's a story there for everything they've done that MJF can be looked at as the good guy. Just don't squander that. Do not waste that.
I don't know if that can be done, though, to properly end Adam Cole, MJF properly and build for Punk and MJF. And we know you could say Punk and MJF 1 week before All Out, and at All In you can announce it, and we know it's going to be powerful and all that. I get that. But being the wrestling fanatic that we are, I would want that story told better than that. And I think that would be just a waste.
Then take that out. Take out Punk and MJF. Then just get me to face MJF.
There we
Just
go.
get me there. Get me there, and we can work around everything else.
Mm-hmm. And then Full Gear is what, November? Then you can go MJF and
I said Revolution, didn't I? I'm sorry, Revolution's February.
In February, yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, bring it at Full Gear. And that'd be line up toward the whole Thanksgiving time anyways when they come back to Detroit, Lord have mercy, when they come back to Chicago. So yeah.
Who did a better job of acting like they can't dance on Dynamite? Sammy or Adam Cole?
I think both of them can't dance. I mean, there's something about when I look at a man and how they move their bodies.
We've seen, Rhodesia, you were at Wale Mania. You saw Adam Cole moving on stage. That wasn't the same Adam Cole that was dancing in that ring. Adam Cole has rhythm. Adam Cole has rhythm. So we know that.
Does he?
Sammy, there is no way, Sammy, you are that bad. Impossible.
Well, he didn't even know how to do the hustle properly. So
impossible. The dancers in that ring was MJF and Danny Garcia. We know that. That was the whole point. And the other two were acting like they can't dance. I just wonder who is the better dancer between those two.
We know Sammy's a different Latin man, right? He doesn't even speak Spanish, right? He ain't got no.
Does he not?
He can't dance. He doesn't speak Spanish. So he was raised a little different.
He got Tecate. He don't even speak Spanish.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say that.
So she's Brazilian, right?
Yeah.
I know, but she still speaks Spanish.
Yeah. I
don't think it's Spanish they speak. Maybe it is.
Hey man,
between Spanish and Portuguese.
So would she speak Brazilian? That's not a.
I don't think it's Spanish. Like because when she
Spanish
speaks
and Portuguese. It's Spanish
I think
and Portuguese.
Yeah, because
that's the main.
I can pick up certain Spanish, and when I hear her speak, I can't really pick up a lot of things she says.
Mm-hmm. But
Spanish is Portuguese. Neither can Sammy, according to you.
You're right. For real.
I'll say this. I'll say Adam Cole was embellishing more. I think he's going a little bit too much. But I think naturally, who has more rhythm, I think it got to be Sammy.
Who has more?
Who has more rhythm because he is a Latin man.
I ain't seen nothing when he was doing it. He seemed a little.
But
he seemed like he was trying, but it wasn't like he wouldn't hit that move right. Like he was,
But as a woman, I look at things differently. I think Sammy.
Well, we know what you look at. We sitting here trying to have a serious conversation about Adam Cole and MJF, the two most popular wrestlers in the entire promotion. We're trying to book the territory for the next year to make sure that AEW maximizes the fans. And what do you keep doing? Talking about some damn hip thrusts. What is wrong with you? Why are you so enamored with hip thrusts?
Because I think it's fun. I think it's cool. I think it just breaks up some of the seriousness of it all. I think that's all it is. It's a dance break, but done in the right way. Who used to do dance break? Carmella and R-Truth, right?
Carmella and R-Truth, yeah.
I like their dance breaks too, but yeah. It's just something quick and fun.
Blood and guts. So I said I thought the story, plural, and the match quality of the match would trump me being over the feud. It didn't. Match was a great match. They went, 45 minutes or so. Highly entertained. Loved everything in the context of the match for the most part. I have no complaints about the actual match itself. But as soon as it was over, I looked at Rhodesia and I was like, all right, time to move on.
And maybe that was the blow off, right? Isn't that's what the blow off is about?
Yes, but it didn't. Typically in the blow off, you get a feeling of satisfaction when it happens. My feeling was finally it's over. Let's move on.
Oh, wow.
Yep. Once again, shout out to everybody that was involved in that match. Nothing against the match itself. I thought it was entertaining. I would tell anybody who didn't see it, hey, go watch the match. I just found myself not caring during the match. And that shouldn't be a case when you are putting your bodies through that type of punishment. I should care. And yeah, like I squirmed here or there, and I enjoyed the match, watching the match, but that was all it was to it. And that shouldn't happen. That shouldn't happen. But it was cool.
Hey, real quick, Rhodesia, before you go, I just want to clear up two things. I'm going to let you guys talk. I didn't see the match. I didn't actually want to see the match. I don't have a lot of time. I didn't want to sit and spend time seeing somebody I didn't want to see. Ty Conti is Portuguese, but she does also speak Spanish. So, Rhodesia,
told you!
Right on the money. Right on the money.
Well, because
And
Brazil is a melting pot for all different type of cultures.
No, she
and
said
so
she
they
speaks
speak
Portuguese. I said
Yeah.
she speaks Spanish. You said
she
you just didn't understand anything she said. So I don't.
And Matt, you are right. During a blow off, you are supposed to be relieved.
fulfilled.
You're right.
Yep. I sat there at 9:01 Central Time and said, "What's next, guys?" I think we watched a movie or something.
See, that's not fair. I mean, I can't say it's not fair because it's how you feel. I loved everything about that match, and I 100% agree with you. Now it's over. But I don't want it the tone to sound like, oh, that match was a waste of time, because it wasn't. I love Pac leaving the match. Like, fuck y'all, forget y'all, I'm out of here. I loved everything about that match. I forgot who it was that came in with the screwdriver to be in. Was it Moxley? Came in immediately with the screwdriver and started annihilating people. My only thing was, and this is shame on me, because I haven't really seen him wrestle fully in a few years, but I think I was underwhelmed.
Elephant in the room.
I was underwhelmed.
Elephant in the room. Go ahead. Elephant in the room. And no, stop. Before you say it.
Yeah.
I don't want the PC. I don't want the PC. I don't want what if I come across as being
I gotta take my hoodie off,
the mean person. I won't give it to me. Give me the real. Give me what you really want to say about what you're about to say. Because we haven't had this conversation either.
And
this is the absolute elephant
in my head.
in the room.
Oh my God.
I am ready to give like 10 shotgun blasts.
I can't do this. This goes against everything about me. Okay. I was 100% underwhelmed with Ibushi's return. They made such a big deal that he was a fifth member. They turned down CM Punk. Rightfully so. They turned down CM Punk for this. His entrance, he comes out. He didn't look like he was in shape for me. He did nothing really in the match itself that I thought was incredible. Overall, I was completely underwhelmed with Ibushi. My emotional attachment to him, I loved seeing him, but I was like, yikes. I was more excited with Pax. He looked like it to me. I haven't seen him, though, wrestle in a couple years. I haven't watched New Japan in a long time.
He hasn't wrestled in a couple years.
Oh, well then, yeah, he was not in the shape that I thought he would be to debut on AEW. And I'm sorry, but that's my raw feelings.
There's nothing to be sorry about. Now, we know that he has had some personal issues over the last year or so, you know, with his mom. He's had issues with NJPW, all that. All that to the side, because we are talking about what we saw on TV. We're talking about what we saw on television.
But that matters, though, if he's not in the right mental space.
Couldn't have been. It matters because this is a work sport. That means you pivot from other things, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so this is not a shot on Ibushi personally. But Kota Ibushi, the god of New Japan Pro Wrestling, that wasn't it at all. He didn't look like himself. He looked really, really big. I wasn't that impressed because what I looked at was he was supposed to be the saving grace for the Elite. And if I don't know who Ibushi is, maybe that doesn't matter anyway. But say if I don't know who Ibushi is, I would have watched that like, this is Kota Ibushi? This is the guy that people talk about a lot? This is the guy that is the Golden Lovers with Kenny Omega?
Maybe that's
they've done all this awesome things.
Maybe that's what I'm feeling.
That wasn't the same guy. Okay? So if whatever he's got going on personally, hopefully he's good with that. We haven't heard anything like he's not. So that's why I bring that up. It's not like, oh, this just happened a month ago and we're hearing that he's down in the dumps. No, he's done interviews talking about how the door's open for him to open up his own wrestling school and come to AEW, et cetera, et cetera. Mm-hmm. When he came out on that stage, I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah. And you and I never even talked about this.
Nope. Wasn't the best at all.
I had to process what I was seeing. I had to take my hoodie off. That just made me super hot.
And then when he came out, I was like, uh-oh. And he proceeded to do some of his more famous spots. It just didn't hit the same.
It didn't.
Did not hit the same.
It didn't.
So I was underwhelmed by that. Match was still great. I am not saying the match was not great. But stories matter, man. Like, and I know people will say, but there's been a story there between the BCC and the Elite. I get that. But it's not about moves. I'm going to go back to Adam Cole and MJF. They've gotten over a double clothesline and a body slam in the year of our Lord and Savior 2023. That got more of a reaction than Pac swinging from top of the cage through a guy on tables. That got more of a reaction. A double clothesline finish to a match got more of a reaction than taking a back bump on broken glass.
And wait, the double clothesline actually was kind of like sloppy to me too. It wasn't even fully there either. But go ahead.
Hey, well they're not because they're not like a full team. That's why I want to break up. Yeah, they got to perfect this double clothesline.
Got it.
Stories matter, man. Stories matter more than anything else. And then I guess just to wrap the conversation around blood and guts. I know I sound like a hater. My apologies. I don't. I'm not a hater on this. Can anybody tell me how that match ended?
Yes. Pac left. And yeah, I think that's it. That's actually. I have to go back.
I love. He actually just left.
He left. He's like, F y'all.
Yeah, they couldn't get along. Cesaro or Claudio said something to him. He said, "All right, I got you." He went and grabbed a pair of pliers, bought some bolt cutters. He walked the hell out.
Broke that lock and left.
Hey, so I'll tell you why I wasn't the biggest fan of that either.
I love that.
You know why? I wasn't. No, I enjoyed that happened. You know why I wasn't a fan of it though?
Why?
I knew that was leading to a match with them at the ROH pay-per-view on Friday, and that's what it was.
Oh, okay.
So like, I kind of have an issue with like blowing off a 6-month feud. One of the main components of that blow off is something that's about to just be paid off in 48 hours. Like, I'm not ordering the ROH pay-per-view. So like, I understand, hey, one match goes to the next match. One storyline goes to the next storyline. I get all that. But it left a little bad taste in my mouth. So I'm like, oh, they're going to work each other on Friday. Watch. And then they end up working each other on Friday because of that.
Yeah, but I see what you're saying.
So back to it, Rhodesia.
Was amazing.
No, go back to it. How did the match end?
I just remember Pac leaving and me saying,
okay.
"Oh, that's funny."
So Pac leaving, was that how the Elite won?
I think so. I think it was a count out. I don't know.
It was a count out at Blood and Guts?
It was a count out at Blood and Guts. He lost because his feet touched the ground first. So I don't know.
This isn't the Royal Rumble.
Oh.
The match ended.
Hell, you know.
The match ended from the Elite choking out Wheeler Yuta. Do you remember that?
No, I don't. Damn.
How did the match end with the Elite choking out Wheeler Yuta?
Pac left. That's why.
Nope.
Oh.
John Moxley throwing in the towel for Wheeler Yuta.
I don't remember that either.
Stories matter. You know why you don't remember it?
Why?
It didn't come across well on television.
They were in picture?
Nope, they were not for the end. Did not come across well on TV. I don't even know if they showed on television the first time Mox throwing in the towel. That's why they kept shooting Mox in the corner with that look on his face while he was tied up. He threw in the towel for Yuta. So here's a finish that you say to yourself, hold on a second. Moxley, who is all about death matches, who is all about kill or be killed, lost this match that blows off a feud to save his partner, Wheeler Yuta, from being choked out?
I'm okay with that.
You can't be okay with it. You didn't see it.
Oh.
How are you okay with it?
Touche. If I were to have saw it and remembered it, I would have been okay with it.
That's got to be one of the things you remember from the match, man, and it wasn't.
But I don't want it to sound like we're shitting on Blood and Guts. I thought Blood and Guts was really, really, really good.
I know.
It was 45 minutes.
I know you are so adamant about not shitting on the match. You can't even remember how the match finished. So it's not about us shitting on it. It's about me giving my personal thoughts on the actual match and the feud itself, and then proving to you that the ending didn't work because you forgot how the finish was. That's crazy talk. That's like watching Kenny and Ospreay and you forgetting that Ospreay won. But then the match didn't matter. The match didn't work. That match was to propel Ospreay. Everything he's won against, wrestling in New Japan through the pandemic in front of no people, taking the lead from Omega when they started AEW, all that transferred in that second match. That's the feeling of, man, he finally overcame Kenny Omega. Man, they 1-1. Oh my God, if they ever meet again, who breaks the tie? That's that. We do blood and guts. You couldn't even tell me like what the finish was. That's just a problem. That's
was
an
it
issue.
just shot poorly?
Yeah. I don't like I said, I don't even think they showed a replay of it, if I'm not mistaken. But when you watched it, you see Wheeler getting choked out. They call for the bell, and then they keep shooting Moxley in the corner. He's bloody. He's tied up. I think he's actually handcuffed to the rope. And he's got like this despondent look on his face. And they keep shooting and they keep shooting. And at first I'm like, why do they keep shooting Moxley? Mm-hmm. And then come to find out, he was the one that threw the towel in for Yuta. I'm like, man, that's a major story.
Yeah.
And we missed it.
Again, I haven't seen it, of course, right? But as you're explaining to me, you talk about stories mattering. That's a huge story. It seemed like it was the problem is that it was missed. And that kind of, and one thing about their production things, it doesn't bother me as much as it bothers you, some of the missed shots. But I noticed on Collision, I forget which, I think it was the end of the tag match. It was
Bingo. They had the wrong camera match. Angle.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yep. And it was like they cut away from him right as I'm like, who does that?
Why?
Who does that, right?
Why are you cutting away right there?
So it seems like in that moment, it crept up on Dynamite too, that they didn't catch the towel being thrown in to emphasize that story plot, because that's something they can kind of talk about next week, right? Between the group, mm-hmm. Like, hey, John, what are you doing? Wheeler could have been like, hey, I wasn't going to tap, or whatever the case may be. Now that sets up a nice little story amongst them that they can continue. So it sounds like the problem wasn't necessarily the finish or how it was laid out. It sounds like it probably just was AEW need to get their production. I'm never going to call for anybody to be fired. I'm always looking for, hey, how can we improve, right? How can we fix this issue? Because it crept up twice on two different shows. Like, right, hey, what can we do to fix that? Because that sounds like it's a huge letdown for the viewers.
Yeah, and that's what it is, because I think it's a fantastic story. And I'm actually really excited to see now what's next for you to...
Why he did that.
Yeah, the BCC and Moxley. But that's what we should have remembered and been thinking about when the finish was over. That's all. All right, now that I've gone off on that tangent.
Yep. Is there much left?
I mean, you guys mentioned earlier that out of the three of us, like Tony wouldn't talk to me. I think it's you guys, because hey Tony, I just went ahead and explained what really happened. That your story was phenomenal.
Look at this guy,
and that
he said the story is phenomenal.
I'm very, very engaged in seeing in the future. Wow. We have to just figure out what we can do to get these production woes taken care of. Tony, give me a call, send me a DM. We'll figure it out.
Incorrect.
Man, I just ignore him.
Hey, look, no, you know why? That's funny, but I like it though. It's entertaining. But the thing about whenever I disagree with something or I have constructive criticism, I always say what could have been. I just don't come out and say I don't like it or anything like that. Right?
Yeah. We're gonna need so much toilet paper after that promo you cut, man. I mean, goodness gracious. We need shamans. We need that good shamans, boy. Yes,
my hiney's clean.
For real.
I don't even know if I should bring it up, because I think this is a perfect way just to end it. But I'm happy to see that Jungle Boy was buried. I'm not going to tell you about kind of what I thought was happening in the beginning of that.
I will.
Package.
I will. No, I will. I thought he was digging up his daddy. I did. I swear to God. I swear to God. Like, they showed him, and I'm like, why is he digging up a body? Because he was dragging the body. I'm like, is he bringing his dad's dead corpse to Dynamite? And then Matt was like, oh no, like, that's the Jungle Boy character. Because he has the boots on. I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. All right, that makes sense. I mean, I thought that was much, much better than him digging up his dad. I liked how he looked. I know you sent a text. You was like, man, I'm not feeling his heel persona or something. Like I thought it was good. I thought he had a really good look. I'm glad he got something in terms of the FTW belt. That should be fun to see where they go from it. But I did like that match, and I did like. I don't know if I like the music. I need to do some research on the significance of that. That's just not a good heel song.
I know the whole thing is horrible, man. Hey, Matt, real quick, you can't run away from the joke. You gotta tell the joke about the digging up the daddy. So for the viewers that wasn't there for the first couple of pods, what that's about.
I don't even know. Do I remember?
I know. I know.
Oh, go ahead, Rhodesia. What happened?
Because I thought that he was bringing up his daddy, digging up his daddy.
Oh, right.
It's Christian, right?
It's the second time he's done
Christian feud.
It's the second time he's done this.
Yeah.
I was like, holy moly.
So here's the thing. I actually liked, no, not that he wasn't digging up his daddy, that he actually was burying his old persona. I like that. Okay. I thought that was cool. Mm-hmm. And then the music happened. And then his non-swag happened. Then everything else happened that just didn't happen, man. He ain't working as a heel, man. Like I said this before he turned heel. I'm like, I don't think this is a good idea. I don't know if he has I don't know if he has the wrestling personality to kind of bring that out of him to make this a larger than life character where it needs to be. I'm not seeing it.
But here's the thing. This was really his first debut of a true heel character. He just announced, he professed that I am no longer Jungle Boy. I got to give him at least, I got to give him a few episodes or at-bats. I have to see him. It's only fair. I'm a wrestling fan.
So let me ask you a question. If you go to a restaurant and you get some brand new restaurant around the corner, you get some lukewarm fries, a seasonless burger, you gonna give him another shot? Or you gonna say this food nasty? Or whatever it is that you might want to eat from there. Whatever. If it's lukewarm and it was seasonless, and would you give it another shot?
Yeah. Absolutely would. I have had before. I'm the queen of DoorDash to begin with, so most of my food comes cold. No, you put that back up in the warmer, or you put it in the broiler.
Well, see, the thing about DoorDash, you can get actual food that you know you like versus the food that new food you tried that didn't taste good. Like, right? Like, why would you pick the thing you didn't like when you can get something you do like?
But you said the restaurant. Would I try the restaurant again? I would try the restaurant again.
Ugh.
I said
it ain't working.
It's I thought it was good. I'll tell you what's funny too. And this proves to you that I was not low on the blood and guts match. I don't want this to get lost. I do think Dynamite was one of their better shows of the year. This past Dynamite. That first hour flew by. Mm-hmm. And then the second hour was the blood and guts match. Mm-hmm. Which everything about the match worked in regards to what they try to do in those two rings. So I just don't want to gloss after that, after I kind of talked about everything I talked about. I thought Dynamite was fantastic. I thought Dynamite this week was actually better than Collision, which it should have been because it was blood and guts.
Right.
But yeah, when you kind of look at just those 2 hours, flew by. And it was a good show. You
got Charmin remorse?
No, I do not. Everything I say, I stand by. Okay. about everything there. It was one last thing I wanted to bring up to you guys, and I forgot what it was. Oh, last thing we kind of started when we were talking to AEW. I want to finish it. This is the Ricky Starks that's needed. What we saw on Collision, that lane right there. Stay there. You are in your perfect lane. That is who you are. That is the superstar that we all know you can be. Yep. That is the lane. Stay right there. The lane is really, really wide, so it's not like it's a small lane. You can go anywhere you want to in those lanes. Stay there, though. That is money. 100%.
I agree 100%. This is the Ricky Starks that I want to see.
Yep. A lot of money involved here. All right, guys. Last things, wrap it up so we can get up out of here.
So does Nash, how does Nash feel about Ricky Starks? Is he a ripoff of One Time Rock? That's a legit question.
I'm guessing he hasn't seen Starks' work, seeing he just now watched LA Knight. So I'm guessing he hasn't seen his work.
Got it.
But when he gets around to it, he'll say that, hey, am I just tripping or is he just a blah, blah, blah ripoff?
Hey, I'm gonna reach out to Kevin Nash to see, we can get Rhodesia and Kevin, and then Matt to crap all over AEW, and I'm just gonna moderate. I'm just gonna be the background guy, the production guy, and let you guys just get a whole 24 pack of Charmin on the wrestling business. So that'd be very fun. I'm gonna reach out and DM him.
I think that'd be good because you have to moderate because you don't watch enough to actually talk about it. So that's talk about lane. That's your lane. You are the moderator. That is a perfect lane. And the lane is wide, brother. The lane is not small. That is your lane right there. Is to moderate. Go ahead and holler at Nash.
Falsities. I don't watch 3 hours of Raw this week, 2 hours of SmackDown, and 2 hours of Collision, all the same day. Actually, here's the thing about AEW on Dynamite. Now that you mentioned it, I did see the first hour of Dynamite. I forgot all about it.
Well, yeah, the first hour.
That's how good of a show it was.
Well, did you like you really didn't say anything about the dance off? Did you like the tag match?
I didn't hate it and I didn't love it. Was I entertained by it?
You were indifferent?
Yeah, I felt like it went on a little bit too long towards the end, which is when I started getting different towards it. That's why I said I kind of agree with FTR, and if it was a boom boom boom, they got in, they got out, but I feel like it kind of went too long. Okay. For that caliber of match, but it was fine.
When I watched it, I took it as a viral moment because that was all over Butch Report Wednesday night. Like people grabbed it and was sharing it. When I saw it, I was like, okay, this is their. Hey, if you don't know what this is, maybe you'll tune in next week. And they popped a great rating too, which is good.
Good stuff.
That's good.
Yep. All right, y'all got anything else?
Just looked over my notes. That is about it.
Clean and clear.
Yep.
So
we need to reach out. We need to reach out to LA Knight and have him name his leaping elbow drop something better than that.
Rhodesia's elbow.
No.
Yeah, I got two things. Tony, follow me. And Kevin, I'll DM you after the pod's over.
We do have Detroit links, so he can connect with us.
Boom.
That's where I swear the guy who did all my tattoos looked just like Kevin Nash. So anybody who's from the Metro Detroit area who went to Ink Slingers on Telegraph, it was this tall guy who's like 7 foot tall.